Good afternoon, sports card fans. Beantown 62 coming at you live from Abilene, Texas. We're going to do a little history lesson with this wonderful Jimmy Collins ball that you see here in the background with a glove. And if you've been watching my channel, you know that I picked this ball up a little while back from an eBay auction. And what Beantown 62 did not know is the rarity of a Jimmy Collins autograph. I've been trying to get one for quite some time and had never seen one come up until that auction. And so, with that, last week, I was minding my own business, sitting home with my wife, watching some TV, drinking a little wine, and I get a phone call. And who would be on the other end but the baseball collector, Mike, whom I never talked to, Eric from those back pages, and the culprit of all of this, the sports card kid dad. Mike, Eric, and Stefan, which is the sports card kid dad, were all discussing in this phone call going to Rangers Fest coming up here, and we're kind of inviting and seeing if I would tag along with the mayhem down there, which Beantown 62 is all in on mayhem and going to stuff like that, so we'll probably make that happen. But during that phone call, I had mentioned this ball. Well, Mike immediately went to my channel and pulled up the video of this ball and was looking at it. And we began to discuss the signature on the ball and whether it was authentic or not authentic and this and that. And in that conversation, I had told him that I had a COA on the ball, and he had asked me who the COA was from. And I told him I'd have to go grab it and look it up because I really don't stick stuff like that in my brain housing group, because at my age, I have very limited storage space and I have to pick and choose what Beantown 62 is going to lock into that brain, because to take something in at this point, I'm having to give something up. And so with that, I went the next morning and I looked at the COA, and the COA is right here, and I'm going to put it up in front of you. And this is a COA I got with the ball, and it's from Halper Brothers, and it's on their letterhead, and it says, written in, somebody wrote it in hand, Jimmy Collins autographed baseball. And so with this, what happened is that the gentleman that owned this ball, and I'm being told was an 80-year-old gentleman that had this ball in his personal collection in Alabama, and that he was starting to sell off items from his collection. At one time or another, this gentleman had contacted Halper Brothers and had them come down to his collection to look at all of his collection and authenticate items in his collection. And so with that, I don't know if the items went up to Halper Brothers in Edson, New Jersey, or if the president and chief executive officer of Halper Brothers, which is Barry Halper, went down and viewed his items and did this. But with that, I'll kind of open this up, and you can see that basically Mr. Barry Halper went and looked at these items, and in his expert opinion, said that these signatures is or are, in my opinion, consistent considering other examples that are both in my present personal collection that I have viewed over the years of my personal career. So Mr. Barry Halper has looked at this ball and had said, yep, that signature is good. I feel like, again, it's good. And so with that, of course, I look up Halper Brothers on the internet and Barry Halper. And Barry Halper was born December 3rd, 1939 in Newark, New Jersey is where he was from. Newark, New Jersey being the home of the Newark Bears, the AAA affiliate of the New York Yankees. Mr. Halper was a 1% minority owner of the New York Yankees during his life. George Steinbrenner called Mr. Barry Halper a great baseball fan who was a dear friend, a valued partner of many years, and a decent and genuine person. Mr. Halper's personal friends included Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Pete Rose, Don Mattingly, and Tommy Lasorda. Mr. Halper, back in the day, had one of the most enormous and extensive collections of baseball memorabilia ever gathered together. And before his death, his collection was auctioned off and brought over $21 million at auction. The passion for Barry Halper's life was to raise money for a local hospital that he had in his town, which was the Burn Center at St. Barnabas Medical Center, where he would eventually pass away from diabetes-related causes. So that's kind of a little bit of Barry Halper's life, and this goes down with some controversy. In October of 2010, the Hall of Fame spokesman, Baseball Hall of Fame spokesman Brad Thorne, contacted someone in the New York Post and stated that a jersey that the Hall of Fame had been basically given to them from Barry Halper's collection. He gave them this jersey of Shoeless Joe Jackson. It was a minor league team jersey that he wore. And again, the director from the Hall of Fame said that jersey was not real, that there was something in the logo that was a chemical that would be more, wasn't even made till I guess like 1941 or 42. And so they were questioning the authenticity of the jersey that Mr. Halper had donated to the Baseball Hall of Fame. That item was then, I bet in 2008, was removed from their display cases. There are other items related to Cy Young, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, and Ty Cobb, whose authenticity was also questioned. There was an article written that came out in the New York Post claiming that Barry Halper had stolen items from the Baseball Hall of Fame, the New York Public Library, and families of baseball players and their wives. The article was written by Peter Nash, who was a former rapper turned memorabilia collector. And in the article, Mr. Nash made all of these comments, and basically the little baseball memorabilia world was kind of turned upside down. Well, when you continue researching into this, and that's Beantown, would just keep reading. I don't just stop at, okay, because again, if you go Google, you just go ahead and Google Barry Halper, and you'll see a ton of negative posts. And when that article came out, pretty much everybody just said, okay, the guy's guilty. He did what he did. And, you know, so he got barbecued. Basically, it was called a fraud, a fake. And of course, all of this has happened since his death and since after he had passed away. Subsequently, Murray Chase, who was a longtime baseball writer for the New York Post and a close and personal friend of Barry Halper, opined that the article that was written was journalistically indefensible and that it defamed Mr. Halper. And basically, you know, he couldn't back up what he was saying in that article. Mr. Nash's credibility and motives were also questioned, given that Mr. Nash was in a long-time litigation with the memorabilia auction house that was instrumental in preparing, organizing, and cataloging Mr. Halper's sales. And that would be Sotheby's, I guess. And this was in 1999. Is where that litigation came from. Mr. Nash also admitted that he committed fraud against that auction house and pleaded the fifth in court because his testimony would self-incriminate him. And right now, there's currently an outstanding arrest warrant for Mr. Nash in connection with that litigation. And so there you have it. What has Beantown 62 stumbled across but another piece of baseball history along, not just the ball. I didn't just get the ball. I get this really nice COA that comes with the ball that's signed off by, you know, again, a huge character within the baseball world and memorabilia collecting world and everything else. And so now, is the baseball and is the signature real? Well, I have a phone call into Jimmy Collins right now, and my phone call has not been taken and probably won't be taken because Jimmy, who's the only one that can really tell us if this signature is real, has been passed away for a long time. And I can no longer talk to Mr. Halper because Mr. Halper has obviously is deceased and passed away, so he's not taking my phone calls either. So what Beantown does have is I have this wonderful ball, and I put it in this awesome old school mitt. It looks pretty cool. And I have this COA with the ball. What will I do coming in the future? I can keep this in my collection, and I can tell myself that, you know, this is real, it's good, and I've got a piece of history, which I do have regardless. The ball is what I did not know in my conversations in that phone call with Mike, and was that there are very few Jimmy Collins autographs out there. You know, maybe 9 to 12 autographs from Jimmy Collins. So the rarity of this autograph, it's kind of second to none, just about. And so it's kind of one of those autos that the great collectors would love to have. Now, if it's real, I figured when I bought the ball for $280 that the ball would be worth way more than that should the autograph be real. And if it is real, I'm being told that, yeah, it's tens of thousands is what it would be worth if it is real. And so now I sit here with my dilemma with this ball and with my little COA on where to go next. Should Beantown 62 take this ball and bring it with him to the Nationals and turn it over to PSA and say, who have their problems too, and saying if something's authentic or not? Should I let them have a stab at this and take a look at this ball and see if they would put their seal of approval on this ball, thus making it a very valuable piece in Beantown's collection? Well, it's already a valuable piece to me. It's something, again, that I have obtained. Luck of the draw. When I was looking at this auction, there was 13 or 14 people watching it, and I kind of went into private chat with the people auctioning the ball and was able to get a sale on it before anyone else could do anything. If in the end the signature isn't authentic, you know, I'm out $284. Oh well. I thought it was worth the chance and the risk at the purchase. And plus it has this wicked awesome COA that, again, is another piece of baseball history. So all in all, this is a very long video. We're crossing the 12-minute mark. I've been trying to keep my stuff under 9. But I just wanted to share this with the hobby and with the community. You guys been really, really, really a lot of fun getting to know you all, getting to know your channels. This is what we do. It's what we like to do. It's what we have a passion to do. So I just wanted to throw this out there. Comment on this video, like if you like, and comment on it and tell me, really, should we bring it to the Nationals and just see if it's real, or should we just keep it in our little collection and keep it in our little mint and say, you know what, we're happy to have this Jimmy Collins autograph. Let me know what you think I should do. Again, I appreciate all you watching. If you like, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. I will be having a contest coming up for 75 whole subscribers. We crossed the 70 mark, and we're going to have to kick out another little contest. And I'm going to do that. And so, again, I appreciate each and every one of you subscribers out there, those listening to my voice. We're going to go back to my Patriots game, who are just killing it today. Attaboy! And we'll be looking forward to going back to Kansas City, where Beantown spent 6 years. Actually watched some Chiefs games in the stadium there. We'll be going back there to play the Kansas City Chiefs unless something crazy were to happen in the last 6 minutes of this game, which that ain't going to happen. But anyways, go Pats, go Sox. Beantown is out of here. Later, dudes.